This buyout is different than our normal ones. These horses came directly from the Navajo Reservation. We intercepted them before any traders were able to get a hold of them or anything. So for the Love of the Hoof, one of the organizations within the Full Circle Life Horse Shelter Network, they were able to get a contract with the Navajo Reservation for these horses getting rounded up, go directly to their holding pens, load them up in trailers, and drive them to their facility, so there's no slaughter pipeline exposure. And we've got a group of them here, which you're going to hear all about. I am very, very busy working on a lot of projects, so I'm going to go, but I'm going to turn it over to our awesome hero ladies in the vet team that are amazing veterinarians. And this, I think, was one of the easiest buyouts ever because, like, everyone was fine. Yeah. For the most part. So enjoy. I think they'll bring out the differences between the different buyouts that we've, like horses we've gotten from the reservation, because the last group before this one, it was a whole nother story.
This is the happiest buyout debriefing we've ever had here at Horse Plus. We had no euthanasias in this whole group, so woohoo. All of these were unhandled Mustangs. There's one in the group that we suspect may have been released or escaped because he was halter trained. But because of that, and because these were a lot of very, very young babies, we were very hands-off. So our normal physical exam findings are much more comprehensive. This was a very brief peek, so we probably won't have a lot to say about a lot of these animals, but we'll tell you what we remember and what we have documented.
Yeah, we tried to make the first really human interactions in this kind of capacity nice with these babies. So that's why we did a lot of less is more with them, because they were so scared. We didn't want to traumatize them and give them bad experiences from the get-go that we'd have to cross those hurdles later. So this is B24-471. I know that there are lots of votes on names going on out there. He's a 6-month-old colt, and he's bay with no markings. Other than being very nervous, he was a pretty nice little boy.
We are actually not the veterinarians who aged this group. They were seen by another vet before they came to us to be screened for health, and that veterinarian did the Coggins. So we changed the age on one horse because it was off by like 10 years. It's one of the stallions that we gelded, so we were able to look really closely at his teeth. So aging is always a guess, but we're going with the ages that were on their Coggins.
So he just got his microchip, we matched his Coggins, he got Equispot, and we started trying at the very beginning to give all these babies dewormer, and it was very traumatizing to a lot of them, so we only got 3 done that had dewormer, but...
the oral meds were a no-go.
Yeah, that made it really worse for them, so we just kind of was like, okay, we'll do it later.
This is B24-472. We said she was a yearling mare. She was a bay, and everybody in this group was nervous, herself included. She had a little lump on kind of her mid-face that could have just been a contusion. I wasn't able to palpate it, but she also just got very, very abbreviated intake. Other than that little bump, she appeared within normal limits, and we actually successfully dewormed her too, but I think after this one we stopped trying because the oral meds were very stressful. And just to cover the bases, all of these horses got a microchip, and if they were cleared for age-appropriate vaccines, they got those vaccines, and they got some topical fly control. So if we don't say that, that happened with everybody in the group.
B24-473, she's about a 5-month-old filly, bay. She has quite a few nice little markings. I think she's one of the ones that's out there with the 3 that we were seeing.
One of the tiniest.
Yeah, she's very, very small. Yeah, she got those initial 3 things that we did. So microchip, brief physical with visuals, and Master Coggins.
This is B474. He is an 8-month-old colt. He's a little Palomino. He's a little bit spicy. The Palominos, I think, sometimes are spicy, but no health concerns.
This is B24475. She's a 1-year-old mare. That's Bay. She is the calmest one of the group. She's very smart. She takes her time. She evaluates the situation. We really like this mare, and we think she's going to do a lot of great things. Because she was a year old, she got all the vaccines, so rabies 5-way, microchip, and Equispot. Since we were trying to get nasal swabs on a lot of these horses to compare them to another group we got from the same reservation, a lot of these guys didn't get strangles because we wanted to see what they would culture without that interfering with it. So.
Should I just jump in? Because I'm not sure everybody will see that other video. So what Dr. Gina is referencing, this group of horses came from a reservation, and we've received one other group of horses from the same reservation, a group of 8. But the first group we got went from the reservation to a horse trader who took them through a situation where a lot of horses that go to slaughter were before they went to another organization, before they came to us. And they were extremely sick when they got to us. And the case of human diphtheria that one of the horses had was in that group. So thankfully this time, these horses came from the same reservation, but Horse Plus was able to negotiate and get all of those middle persons cut out. So these horses came pretty much directly from the reservation to Horse Plus. And so we're really happy about that. But we wanted to try to compare to see if a lot of those really horrible drug-resistant bacteria that we saw in that other group, all 8 of them had really severe infections, was present at all in this group, because we're trying to figure out, did those bad things come from the reservation circumstances or from the slaughter pipeline? We obviously suspect it's from those slaughter pipeline avenues, but we got as many nasal swabs as we could, although there was only one horse in this whole group that had any nasal discharge, and it was just like clear serous, kind of looked like normal snot. So that's what Dr. Gina's talking about. This one, this is B24476. She is a 1-year-old mare, and she has very strong opinions. She has 2 blue eyes. She is on the big side. I think she's going to be a bigger girl, and she did not appreciate getting shoved in there with a bunch of tiny babies. So she got separated out, and she's in a pasture with some older mares. I suspect she's actually probably a little bit closer to 2, but she's very beautiful. No health concerns.
All right, this is B24477, approximately 5-month-old filly, a little sorrel girl with some really cute markings. No health concerns. She's a pretty good little girl. So.
B24478 is an, oh, I remember this boy. Mm-hmm. He had an H-down at 8 months, but he's really tiny, so we suspect that he's a lot younger than that. He has a flaxen mane and tail. He made some really poor life choices. So these guys, we have a setup, and we run them through different pens so we can access them. And this little boy thought it was going to be a great idea to try to jump over his friends. We try to keep things really low stress. You can watch the video of us doing intake on these horses, but even with not a lot of pressure, he thought it was going to be a good idea to try to jump out of things. He did not injure himself, thankfully. But he also, so he had a little bit more of a stressful day than others. But physically healthy.
Oh, this one's really cute.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is B24479. He's approximately a 4-month-old little colt, little dun boy with a really cute blaze. Haley really loves him, so we're hoping she'll take him home. But no major health concerns with him. He's just a little less trusting of people than the other babies his age, but
he's very small.
Yeah, but we're working on him. We're going to win him over, I promise.
B24480 is a little filly. We had down that she's about 5 months old. She's another little liver chestnut with really cute markings. She is one of the ones that was very, very reactive to the shoot, and thankfully she did not get injured, but she did put herself in some compromising positions. So the other variable here that made things a little bit more challenging is we have this amazing hydraulic padded squeeze chute that we use for a lot of these guys. And in hindsight, I think the system that we use worked really well, but we didn't have that because we had to move it for our new climate controlled intake barn. The timing didn't work out to keep it up there before we use these guys. So in that chute, there's nowhere there where they can like put their legs through or, you know, get backed up against. And these guys were all way smaller than the average horse. So this little filly backed herself up underneath the butt bar and then tried to stand up and tried to pick up part of the chute. So she didn't succeed. And I think Keith jumped in and saved her from that situation. But she trotted away. She's very prancy. She likes to trot around with her tail up in the air.
This is B24481, about a 6-month-old little filly, Palomino. She's also really super cute. Like she was saying, with some of these babies, when they're panicked and in the chute system, when we're normally used to this little padded squeeze chute where they can't stick their limbs or their heads through things, she tried to come out the left side just a little bit, but once she found it was unsuccessful, then she kind of stopped trying. So she's at least learns really quickly. And she also had a few bruises or contusions on the medial aspect of her right hock. So she's had some stuff happen to her, but hopefully she decompresses really well and she seems to have a good head on her shoulders. So.
Oh my goodness. This is B24482. This little colt was down as a 4-month-old. There's no way he's that old. I think he's probably closer to 2 months, maybe even a month. So it's really sad. I tell people to leave foals with their moms until they're at least 7 months old, not just for nutritional purposes, but also for behavior. And, you know, moms are just a really important part of a baby's life. So this poor little guy, we believe to be the youngest of our whole group. And we gave it our best to try to get, we have one brood mare from a previous BUYOUT group that was still lactating, and we tried really hard to get her to accept him. We had one successful nursing session, but when we tried again yesterday, she very respectfully but very firmly said, absolutely not, I'm not into this. So we were able to get him to drink some full milk replacer out of a syringe, and then we were able to get him to drink some out of a bucket, and he's also eating some grain, and he's drinking water and eating hay really well. So it's not ideal for him, but being bottle raised also has a lot of concerns for behavior. So we have him in an area with the 3 tiniest ones are separate. And then we have that sweet older mare who said no to nursing is still very friendly and a good kind of mother figure. So she's in the same area with them, fenced off, but they're sticking right kind of next to her and eating and drinking and at least kind of have a mother figure. So, so far clinically, he's doing really, really well.
All right, this is B24483, approximately 8-month-old colt, bay with a really tiny star and a sock. No health concerns. He just got his microchip and a quick visible physical.
He's one of the ones that he made good life choices.
Yeah, he's super cute.
Very smart.
All these babies are really cute.
B24484. Dr. Gina has spicy written on her
That's what people were saying,
page.
so I wrote it down.
She is in with that Cremello mare with the blue eyes. She also, so she's a 2-year-old, no health concerns. She's got beautiful markings. She has a little paint. She has a little heart on her left side. She also did not think it was great to be stuck in with a bunch of babies looking for their moms. So these slightly older mares, I think all the babies were trying to find moms. And so she was not super friendly to her small companions. So she's with some bigger mares, and she's just gorgeous. And also no health concerns.
All right, this is B24485, approximately 5-month-old filly, sorrel, super cute. She has socks on all 4 feet. And a little bit of white on her withers. No health concerns.
B24486 is a 2-year-old paint mare. She was normal, unhandled Mustang behavior for us, but the organization that got them from the reservation had a lot of difficulty with her. They actually separated her from the babies because her behavior towards them was so aggressive. And then she attempted to double barrel kick one of their staff members. Thankfully, that person wasn't injured. She didn't show those indicators with our staff. But again, we tried to really take it slow. She is the only member of this group that had any clinical abnormalities. She was coughing a good bit, and she is the one horse that had a tiny bit of nasal discharge. Hers was clear serous discharge, so it wasn't that typical appearance of infection. She had no enlarged lymph nodes, and we did collect a nasal swab sample on her. We don't have those results back.
This boy, B24487, when he came in, if you look at one side of his mouth versus the other, it's very deceiving. So he's one that came in that they thought was 2, but looking at his teeth, he's really closer to 11. Because he has very uneven wear on his incisors, so they kind of do this thing. So on one side of his mouth, he does look like he's 2, but the other side shows that he's way older. So he's the one that we think either got loose from somebody and was running at large with the herds, or was just let loose or something like that, because he's the one that was halter broken and relatively had manners. He still was steady, but we castrated him yesterday with some of his other older buddies and debrided his wound a little bit. It looks great. It's healing wonderfully. The other organization that had him did a lot of it, so we have to give them credit because they did a lot of that. But yeah, he's castrated and vaccinated now and out with his buddies recovering, but he did great.
Holds a grudge.
He does. He does hold a grudge. He's a little bitey, but stud, so.
Oh, yeah. B24488 is a 2-year-old. He came in as a stallion. We did 3 castrations yesterday because these guys were all healthy. So his castration went great. And we also collected a sample for him. So we didn't want to traumatize these babies by stuffing swabs up their noses. And since these guys were under anesthesia, we were able to get really accurate samples. He had no clinical signs. He was very healthy, but we got a sample anyway just to see if we could find anything. No other concerns for him, and he's a really, really beautiful animal. Seems like he's got a great personality.
All right, B24489 is the other 1-year-old colt that we castrated yesterday, and his surgery went well. He recovered well. We did all the things on him, and we also got a nasal swab on him, so no health concerns.
He's funny because he's only a yearling, and the other guys who he castrated, one was at least 2 and the other one was 11, so he was like way smaller, but he was like marching around thinking he was hot stuff. Like he definitely did not know that he was way tinier than the other boys in his group. Yeah. That is it. Yay. We wish all of the buyouts were like this, except for those babies being apart from their moms. I think our biggest concern is just those babies staying hydrated and eating. We tried to start them on mare and foal feed, and the first day they were like, we don't know what this is and we have no interest in it, but we left it, and overnight everybody sniffed the buckets, tasted the grain, and decided it was delicious. So they're eating a little better now.
Yeah, but that's an unfortunate thing about the roundups on these reservations is a lot of the times they separate mares from foals before any organization can get a hold of them. So even though we would want their moms with them, that wasn't a capability for us this time. So hopefully we can get to them before they start doing that, and these babies can stay with their moms longer. But
yeah, it's so heartbreaking. All of the mares from this group went to slaughter. I mean, they were bought by a horse trader. So unfortunately, we got to think about the ones that we can save, not the ones that we didn't save. But it's easy for us to be like, oh, healthy babies. But the reality is that of the 13, 14, 15 really young ones, that means that many of those mares didn't get saved. So that's why we do what we do.